Thank you. Today's talk will talk about the right attitude will lead you to a high altitude. Tommy Doe is a proud father of 2 years old identical twin girls and a 5-year-old boy. His primary passion in life is his family. A year ago, Tommy started a new business venture and discovered through his journey the importance of having the right mindset and attitude. Today, Tommy will share with you how having a positive mindset has changed him from a shy and fearful individual a year ago, just a year ago, to someone that welcomes change and growth. As a result of having a positive attitude, he has discovered that he naturally attracts people instead of having to chase them down. Please welcome Tommy Doe.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
How are y'all doing today?
Very good.
Well, my name is Tommy, and I just want to take a quick moment and say thank you to Ayelet, as well as the Successful Thinkers organization, for allowing me and giving me this opportunity today to share with you and be your speaker. I actually feel extremely honored and privileged to be up here. And I think it's quite amazing that Successful Thinkers has a platform like this that allows for an average individual such as myself to actually come up here and to speak. I think it's pretty awesome. But I'm actually, I asked Ayelet, and I'm actually up here today for a couple of reasons. My first reason is because I am actually a very big believer today in self-development and personal growth. Because for myself, I feel like I just realized I'm somewhat of a late bloomer in life. And I know that in order for you to change and in order for you to grow, you have to step outside of that comfort zone. And so today actually is a very historic moment for me because this is actually the first time that I'm in front of an audience like this. I share this with you because probably a year ago, if I had come to an event like Successful Thinkers, I would have probably came in and I would have seen all of you nice folks talking and chatting with each other. And automatically I would have thought in my head, oh my goodness, I don't know anybody here. And they all seem to know each other. And it just seems too weird and too awkward and too uncomfortable for me to go up to somebody and kind of like chop it up, you know? And it wasn't something I would have done. So what I would have probably done was I would have probably turned around, snuck out, and went back to my car, and I would have drove home. But the sad part is I probably would have wasted another hour or so doing what my wife calls wallowing in terms of what I had just done. And then my wife would have probably called me a little sissy, right? But I tell you, today I welcome discomfort because that is what promotes change and growth. And that's why I'm actually up here. But my second reason why I'm up here is because through my short journey within my business this year, I felt like I have endured so much discomfort doing all the things that was outside of my norm. And I realized, what I realized during all that was, I realized that when I stepped outside of my comfort zone, it was really in those moments that when I truly discovered myself. I discovered my strengths, I discovered my weaknesses, but most importantly, I discovered my gifts that I never knew I had and my interests. And one of my interests is that I like to inspire, and hopefully I can inspire at least one person in the room today. But you know, I have been out with many people here, many of you, and you have shared with me amazing stories of your journey in your business, and whether it was about your success or whether it was your struggle. But you don't know this, but it was still inspiring to me. Because whether your story was either one of those things, I can hear it when I'm listening. I can hear the passion, the desire, and the drive within your voice, and that was very inspiring to me. So hopefully I can inspire some people today. Sounds good?
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, can I just see a show of hands for all of those people in this room that are either in business for yourselves or you're involved in some form of sales? Wow. So as I expected, that's the entire room. But think about this. I know there's a lot of people in here, and I know for a fact that there's different industries that are represented in this room. But out of each and every industry out there, isn't there always a very small handful of people that make it to the top? They're what we call the cream of the crop. Sometimes we refer to these people as the superstars, right? And I know there's some people in here that are superstars. But what makes them so unique? What makes these people so special that they're able to rise to the top? Is it just luck? Is it chance? You know, some people will tell you and tell you that it's purely God's will. And I'll share with you on that a little bit later. But I truly believe that it is a little bit more than that. Couldn't it be that it's their perseverance, their hard work ethics, their desire to win, but most importantly, their attitude? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to share with you today. But I want to share with you why I was so inspired to talk about something about like attitude. A little over a year ago, somebody had approached me and said, "Hey man, do you leave your business options open?" And I was thinking, why not? You know, why wouldn't I? So he goes, "Sit down, let me show you something." So I listened. And at the end of the thing, I was like, wow, I've been looking 10 years and finally somebody comes along and offers me something, right? I like the company's mission. I like the company's vision, and I particularly love the money. And it looked very, very simple that in my head, I started to make big plans, right? I had big plans. I was going to get rich really fast, right? And we know that nothing in life comes without a cost. So I tell you this because my first 3 to 5 months in the business was extremely brutal. I have endured so much discomfort, and all the things that I have planned in my head did not go in any way, shape, or form the way I had seen it. And it made me angry. And I thought everybody, all my families and friends were a bunch of weirdos, you know? I thought they were all weird because I thought everybody was like me, open-minded to just hear something out. But most people, they avoided me like I have cancer or something, you know? And that kind of made me angry and bitter, where I turned on everybody. I found myself when I was at home on Facebook, delete. This is that negative attitude, right? I was so angry that I even turned on God. I was so angry. But I tell you something, I didn't realize that failure is part of life. When we go through our businesses, failure is actually good, because those moments when I got all those no's, it actually, some miraculous thing happened where it made me a stronger and better person. I didn't realize that success is actually a journey and not a destination, as you guys heard of that saying. You know, so one part of my brain was telling me, you know what, this is maybe not for you. But my positive side was saying, well, let's make this for us, Tommy. Why don't we make this for us? So I decided to stick it out. You guys ever heard of the saying where they say that you are who you hang out with and the books that you read? Well, here's the thing. That is absolutely 100% true. Because as I stayed in the business, the people that I surrounded myself with, like you guys, positive people, positive energy, I started to get my hands on positive readings and positive CDs. And somewhere along the way, I don't know when it happened, I started to be very positive. And when that happened, I started to get some productions. And my business started to move. And sometimes people join me and do my business and join me, not even for the business. They just want to hang out. So that was really, really amazing how I found that. So I truly believe that people join you because of you and not because of whatever the business is, right? But let me share with you why I was so angry and I turned on God for that brief moment. You know, for me, I grew up in a household where when it came to success and riches, my mother truly believed that those things were entirely left up to God, and that God had a number for each and every one of us. So if I was to dabble in any sort of entrepreneurship, like open a business, and my business failed, well, she would tell me, son, maybe you're not in God's plan. You know, she's a great mother, you know, really, really, you know, great mother, but her belief is now today, I think it's all screwed up, you know? Because her belief is, she wholeheartedly believed that God has already chosen a selected few to go out there and be successful in life, right? And if I tried something and I didn't succeed, I wasn't a part of God's plan. You know, it's a very good thing that my mom never talked to people like Thomas Edison or Abraham Lincoln, Seriously. But that is the reason why I was so angry at God. I turned on God because I would pray at night for those initial months. Like, I've never wanted something so badly in life. Why would you not choose me to be successful? And why are others making it? But because of all my readings, my whole mindset has changed. It's like a paradigm shift. So today, I tell you, I truly believe God wants, as God's children, He wants all of us to succeed in whatever we do. The thing is, we all have challenges and obstacles all in front of us. If you think about it for a moment, this could be your test. We have any parents in the house? So here's the thing. I have 3 little ones myself. My kids one day will ask me for things, and I may say no to them. But that does not mean I don't love them and I will never give it to them. It just means that I don't think they're ready for what they're asking for. Maybe they're not responsible enough for what they're asking for, is how my view set is. So when they prove to me that they're able to be responsible enough to get the things that they're asking for, maybe I will give that to them. So in terms of God, that's how I approach it today. And that is why I'm such a big believer in self-development and personal growth. I believe that if you continually grow yourself and constantly change and read books and stuff, you will become a better father, a better businessman, and a better leader. But through all that, you will get what you want in life. But getting back to my mother, contrary to what she believed, contrary to what my mother believed, here's the thing. When it comes to success, yes, as man, we do not get to choose our destiny. However, we do pick our habits. And I truly believe that it is our habits that will determine and contribute to our destiny. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Let's talk about attitude now. If attitude is just merely habits of thoughts, then that is actually a beautiful thing. That makes me very happy, excited, and inspired, because that means that I have a chance. That means that each and every one of you in here has a chance. In whatever goals and whatever dreams you guys are trying to chase after. Because, ladies and gentlemen, habits can be acquired. You see, in our minds, we have 2 voices. We have the positive voice and we have the negative voice. And we cannot get rid of neither of these voices. However, through our thoughts, through our habits, and through our attitude, we can tone down that negative voice and catch ourselves when we're complaining and turn that volume up on the positive voice. The person that is truly more mentally fit than the next person is really the person that can catch himself fairly quickly when he is complaining. You see, imagine this. If each and every one of us here had a garden and we left our garden unattended to, would you guys expect beautiful flowers to grow, or we would get a bunch of weeds?
Yeah.
Probably a bunch of weeds. In the natural order, I would expect for us to get a bunch of weeds. And that is why it is so important for us to always be weeding our own minds and planting those positive thoughts. I read a lot nowadays. Anybody gives me stuff, I like to read it. But I was reading a story, and we know that the Greeks were very big on athletic competition, right? And that's one of the reasons why we have the Olympic Games today. So I want to take this story and share it with you back to 3,000 years ago, around 8 BC. Now the Greeks had a level of excellence which they called the paideia. And their paideia back then was something called the 4-minute mile. That's being able to run 1 mile in under 4 minutes. Now, for those of us in here that are not athletes or have never timed yourself running 1 mile, let me tell you something, that is truly insane, right? But it was so difficult that it eluded people for thousands of years. Nobody could get this done, and it was thought of as a myth and something that was humanly impossible. However, in 1952, we have a young gentleman by the name of Roger Bannisteros, and he takes a look at this 4-minute mile, and he says to himself, you know what? This is way long overdue. This is something that can be done, it should be done, and I'm going to do this. So Roger sets out and he decides he's going to get a coaching team together to help coach him. As he's out and about talking to people and looking for people to help coach him, he realized something. He realized that everybody was saying negative stuff to him. They were telling him, look dude, nobody's ever been able to do this in the history of the world. We don't know if your hearts, your lungs can even handle this kind of stress. So your chances of success are slim to none. I don't know about you guys. My whole family's been telling me that. You guys ever hear that? Your chances to make it to the top are slim to none. But let me share with you how Roger approached that. At that moment, he realized that everybody was basically planting weeds in his very head, and he didn't want none of it. He didn't want nothing to do with it, so he decided to chop the weeds off. By doing so, he had made a decision to train by himself and to go solo, right? Because by going solo, he didn't have to really worry about reading his own mind. All he had to worry about was basically planting positive thoughts, those beautiful flowers that we mentioned earlier. And that's exactly what he did. So Roger goes out and he basically learned ways to lower his resting heart rate, he learned ways to eat healthier, and he learned ways to train smarter. So the day had finally arrived for him to take on this ultimate challenge. And Roger, you know, he ran as hard as he could for that 1 mile. As a matter of fact, he ran so hard that he collapsed over that finish line. Now, depleted of any oxygen going to his brain, he collapsed and he basically lost his vision temporarily and his whole mind blacked out. But you know what? He was able to do it in under 4 minutes. Now, the thing is this, the beautiful part of this story I share with you is not only what Roger was able to do. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year later, we have over 30-something people pop out and be able to accomplish this 4-minute mile that eluded people for thousands of years. So what changed? Remember, prior to Roger being able to do this, everybody had a negative attitude. They were influenced by everybody around them telling them that they couldn't, you know, their hearts, their lungs, their body couldn't handle this kind of stress. Nobody's ever been able to do it. Why could you do it? And they all believed that. But the minute somebody proved to them that it could be done, all that changed. Basically, they started to believe, but most importantly, they started to believe in themselves. So, attitude is one of the key elements to success in anything that you do in life. We all know who Will Smith is? Well, Will Smith once said that 2 plus 2 in the universe is equal to 4. He went on and said, 2 plus 2 in my world is whatever I want it to be. If I ever decide to be president of the United States, I will be president of the United States. So, it is exactly that kind of attitude that will lead you to high altitude. But I'll tell you this. Having a positive attitude on a daily basis is no easy task, and I'll be the first one to admit that. Right? It is not. I mean, life continuously throws these curveballs at you, and my business continuously to remain this stupid roller coaster ride. Right? You know what I'm talking about? So, I will tell you this though. It makes it a heck of a lot easier if you have an attitude of gratitude. Take a moment each day and just be grateful and be thankful for the things that you have in your life. Remember, be thankful for shoes that you have, clothes on your back, a roof that you have over you, food on the table, especially loving friends and families that surround you. Because realize this, there's a lot of people out there that are way less fortunate than you are. I'm sure that you would agree with me when I say this. It is very hard to be negative if you are thankful. Would you agree?
Yes.
On the other hand, it is also very hard to be positive if you are not thankful. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that you are always thankful for the things that you have in your life, because if you take a moment to think about it, why would you be blessed with more if you're not happy and thankful for things that you currently have in your life? It's sort of like the story that I was reading about the gentleman who had no shoes. Dude complained all the time how he had no shoes, right? However, he comes across somebody with no feet one day, and boy was he thankful. So, I'm going to wrap this up. It is 2013. Happy New Year, by the way. And I know it's a new year. I made a commitment to myself. It's a new me. It should be a new you. And whatever goals and whatever your dreams, go get it. And